Welcome to Write with Love. I'm Sarah Williams, best-selling author, speaker, and creative entrepreneur. Each week I chat to passionate and inspiring authors about their journey in creative writing. Some are traditionally published, some do it themselves. Everyone's journey is different, and everyone has something interesting to say. We all love love and love what we do. Today's show is brought to you by our amazing fans and supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show and get some awesome bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/SarahWilliamsAuthor to learn more. Now here's today's show. G'day, I'm Sarah Williams, romance author and independent publisher at Serenade Publishing. Today I'm chatting to Keri Arthur, paranormal and urban fantasy author. Thanks for joining me today, Keri.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. Can you introduce yourself and just let us know how you started out in your writing journey today?
Oh God, how long have you got? I first started writing when my daughter was born in 1990. Well, seriously writing. I've written all my life. But I decided because, babies didn't do anything but sleep and eat, I'd have plenty of time to write. That didn't quite work out that way, and it took me 10 years of submitting and rejecting to get my first publisher in 2000, which was Imogen Books in the USA. I had 12 books and a novella out with them over a course of about 4 years. And in between that, I wrote The Full Moon Rising, which was the first of my Riley Jensen series. That took nearly 2 years to get an agent. But once I got an agent, it took 6 weeks to sell, and it had a 3-publisher bidding war, which was absolutely amazing for this little author in Australia. And then I wrote 38 or 39 books, I think, traditionally. And last year I started self-publishing because I lost my traditional contracts. So it's been a long, different journey.
Yep. So you don't have any traditional contracts now? You're just going indie from here on?
Full indie, yeah. Apparently the stuff I'm writing now, the publishers don't think they'll sell. So I'm full indie.
Wow. So tell us about the types. Obviously, it's paranormal and urban fantasy. So tell us about some of the topics and characters that you use.
I tend to do vampires, werewolves. They're usually a cop of some sort fighting supernatural crime, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just the fun stuff. I've always loved vampires and werewolves and combining the two, and kick-ass chicks is what I write.
Excellent. So you've got a few different series as well as standalones. Are there any of those in particular that you prefer or loved writing more?
I will always love the Riley Jensen series because that's the series that hit the New York Times list for me and made my name, basically, and paid for my house. But, I usually love the book I'm writing right now. And right now it's the 4th of the Lizzie Grace series, which is my self-published series.
Yep. Yep. Excellent. And so tell us about your New York Times best-selling status. How did you get that? Please tell us the tricks.
Well, it was mainly due to the publisher. When I sold the first one, Full Moon Rising, I'd actually had the first 3 books almost written by then. And by the time the first one came out hardback, I'd written the 4th one. And they knew this, so they said, we'll put them out in 2 or 3 months gaps. And that's what made it hit the New York Times, because the first one sort of sold well but didn't go anywhere. The second one sold better. The third one hit the extended list, and the 4th one hit the New York Times list.
Wow.
So it was a case of putting them out so fast and so quickly and putting the pre-orders up so fast. It sort of built momentum. Brilliant. And that's basically what self-publishers have to do.
Yeah. That's so how long ago, what year was it that you got onto the New York Times?
2007, I think it was.
2007, yeah. Wow. So that's really good. Wow. And
Yeah.
so the accolades and nominations that you've been receiving, you've got a stack of them.
Yeah, I've got a few, yeah.
So you've got Romantic Times Reviewer's Choice Awards.
Yes, I actually can't remember which book that was for. It was a few years ago now. I've got Romantic Times, a few nominations and one award, and I've also won a ARA award here in Australia for the science fiction, which was good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you write really fast? Are you just a really, really fast writer or a really clean writer? How quickly can you turn them out?
When I first started, my first book took me 2 years to write.
Yeah.
These days, a book takes me about 3 months.
Wow.
So it's just a case of, because I've written so many books, I've gotten faster as I've gotten along, and they're also much cleaner as I go along.
Yeah.
Because, after writing 38 or so books, you sort of know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's it. And you're indie now, so are you still using an editor and a cover designer, or do you do
God,
this?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. My books still go through the same process. I still go through a content editor, still got a line editor, proofer, a couple of proofers. So, yeah.
Wow.
And I pay good money for good covers. I think you've got to spend money to make the money these days.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people going into the self-publishing route. You've really got to spend the money.
Yeah.
These days to stand out.
Yeah, that's it. And do you think you learned anything being traditionally published that you're bringing to self-publishing now?
I actually don't know. I mean, I love the freedom of self-publishing because when you're traditionally published, you haven't got much say really in the covers or when the books come out or anything like that. But as self-publishing, you can pick your own cover, you can choose your editors, and yeah, you've got so much more freedom as a self-publisher. I really like the freedom.
And actually, when you were traditionally published, how many books did you put out a year?
2 books a year.
2 books a year.
I was contracted for 2 books a year, yeah.
So that's still
I quite often wrote 3 books a year. But, yeah, I was usually one ahead, but it's usually 2 books a year coming out.
Yeah. And so independently published, are you still doing 2 or are you doing more now?
No, I'm doing 4 this year.
4?
Yeah. Well, because I'm so new at the self-publishing, I sort of want to build it up a bit.
Yeah.
So I will probably drop back down to 3, maybe next year or the year after. But the first year I'm sort of doing 4.
Yeah. So what's the size of these books? Are they relatively short novels or are they big full ones?
2 of them are 90,000 and 2 are 120,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
so that's a really good effort.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, 3 of them were written last year.
Yeah. And
I finished 1 this year. The 90,000 one I finished this year in 2 months. So, Pacemaker. Pacemaker is my key. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's an online tool where you can plug in your starting date and your ending date, and it gives you a graph of how many words you've got to write a day.
Right.
And if you don't meet those words, the graph keeps going up, and it's just, it scares you.
So is it Place or Pacemaker?
Pacemaker.
Pacemaker.net,
I think it is.
Excellent.
So,
I'll definitely have to look at that one. I'm very behind at
Yeah,
the moment. Wow, so that's really incredible. And now that you are in India, obviously you have to do the marketing side of it as well. Are you wide or are you Amazon Kindle Unlimited?
I'm wide.
Yeah.
I won't put it solely into Amazon because I do not want to support solely Amazon.
Yeah.
I believe it's better for authors if we go wide.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. That's so cool. All right. So conferences and events that you attend. You're a member of the Romance Writers of Australia and have been for some time?
Oh, yeah. I've been with them since 1991 or 92, I think. And I was on the committee for a number of years. But, even though when I first joined, I was one of the few paranormal authors they had there. But it was just they're so supportive, and I've learned so much with that organisation that, I just love them still.
Yeah. And have you ever done any presentations or workshops or keynotes at any of the conferences yet?
I did an emergency one a couple of years ago at RW Australia I think it was Adelaide.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it was my bones and all, warts and all journey of my publishing career. So I stepped in and did that. And last year I think I did one on first lines.
Oh, excellent.
A workshop on first lines, which I'm doing in RWNZ this year.
Oh, brilliant. Cool.
Yeah.
So heading across the ditch to RWNZ.
I am.
Yep.
I love their conference. They're also friendly, and it's much smaller than ours, so you can get around and chat to everyone, and it's great fun.
Oh, excellent. And the Romantic Novelists Association, were you ever part of that?
No.
No?
I'm with ARA, Australian Romance Readers Association.
Yep.
In Australia. And I've been to the Romantic Times convention over in the US a few times.
Yeah.
They're brilliant fun, absolutely brilliant fun. A great way to meet your readers and just have a good time.
Yeah. Excellent. So for paranormal and urban fantasy, actually some people might not know what urban fantasy specifically is. So can you clarify that for them?
Urban fantasy is supernatural beings set in a modern urban environment, basically. Mine are dark urban fantasy, which means I can go. They've got more horror and sex elements in it. More horror than anything. Mine can get pretty damn gruesome.
You look so innocent. Who'd have thought?
Yes, beneath this face is a monster. Mind.
And are you a mum as well?
Yes.
So
I've got one daughter.
Yep. What does your daughter think of this? She reads your
books? She won't read my books because she doesn't like horror novels. So, they get a bit gruesome for her.
Don't read that before bed. Excellent. Well, what's your latest book to have come out that readers might see on the shelf or in their e-book store?
Well, I had one released in February, which is Hell's Bell, which is the second book of my Lizzie Grace series, which is basically two witches in a werewolf reservation in Victoria solving supernatural crimes.
Oh, wow.
And then in May, I've got the first of a new fantasy series coming out called Unlit. So,
very cool.
Looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Yeah, so what's that one about?
It was set in a completely different world. It's fantasy world, and it's basically a soldier who hasn't got magic, who gets involved in a plot, or trying to stop a plot to destroy her city.
Oh, wow.
So,
ooh, that looks very exciting.
I didn't describe it very well. I'm hoping for those sort of things. So. Website.
Yep. And then while these ones are all getting ready to release, obviously you're working on something else.
Yes, I'm working on the fourth book of the Lizzie Grace series. The third book's already at my editor's.
Yeah.
And it's coming out in August.
Oh, wow. And you've got some standalone books as well, don't you?
I don't have a lot of standalones. I tend to write in series because I just can't seem to leave my characters.
Yeah.
So I tend to write in long series, like the Riley Jensen series was 9 books. The Dark Angels series was 7 books. So, I don't. Once I create a world, I don't want to leave it.
Yeah.
So I've only got, I've got a standalone novella, a standalone novel, and the fantasy novels I'm releasing this year will basically be standalones, even though they're set in the same world.
Mm. Oh, wonderful. And do you have any advice for anyone aspiring, especially if they are writing paranormal or urban fantasy? Any pieces of advice for them?
The best bit of advice was given to me 20 years ago was write what you love. Mm-hmm. And I still think that's the best thing anyone's ever said to me. In this world, you can't control basically, if you traditionally publish, you can't control anything. Mm-hmm. The only thing you can control is your writing. And I think with the self-publishing and the need to constantly put it out books, you've got to enjoy what you're writing. So basically write what you love and don't worry about what the market's doing.
Yeah, and as you said, that is much easier as an indie, to just keep writing what you like and not having to follow the market quite as much.
Well, I've never followed the market.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why it took me 10 years to get published, but it's also the reason I was published, because it was very different to what was out there at the time. So.
And you've had a very illustrious career so far, so you're doing well.
Yeah. Well, the last couple of years have left something to be desired, but, it happens.
Dip someplace. Well, that's absolutely fantastic. So where can people go to find you online and find out more about your books?
Well, I've got my website, www.keriarthur.com. I'm also on Facebook, Keri Arthur Author, and of course Twitter, which is Keri Arthur. So all the usual ways.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Keri.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Jump onto my website, sarahwilliamsauthor.com, and join my mailing list to receive a free preview of my books and lots of inspiration. If you like the show and want it to continue, you can become a sponsor for just a couple of dollars a month. Go to patreon.com/sarahwilliamsauthor to find out more. And remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a review of the podcast. I'll be back next week with another loved up episode. Bye.